One of the really cool things about getting to do this podcast is getting to be partners with Nationwide. These guys have over 5,500 members, Kinsley, as you well know. And the cool thing is we're just coming out of prime time. And I saw Rob Stott's email claiming victory, and they did because they had a ton of people attend the virtual primetime event. So I was reaching out to, and I'm like, hey, we gave the keynote to that. So I was trying to get some feedback. But anyway, the whole wrap up was very, very positive, and I think they absolutely crushed it. Is that kind of what you're hearing?
That's what I'm hearing as well. And look, I can't tell you how many people I talk to on the retail side of things who say, should I really check out Nationwide? And I'm like, get with one of your local reps, go to nationwidegroup.org, you can get in touch, and just have them walk you through the benefits, just the benefits alone. Like not the community, not the opportunity to give to No Child Hungry, not the sense of purpose that Nationwide surrounds their membership with. Just look at it from your own perspective. How much money is this going to make me and save me based on what Nationwide offers? Walk through it and do the math. I think that's a great starting point. And another great starting point for retailers everywhere is getting a $400 gift card just for signing up for Podium. And they actually, Shannon and Kenyon are like, hey, you got to keep pumping this $400 gift card for people that sign up at podium.com/dose, because it's been so popular and so many people have signed up that they continued the promotion. So if you're adding a new location and you're an existing Podium member, $400 Visa gift card. If you're signing up for Podium for the first time, $400 Visa gift card. So make sure and do it. I don't know when this is going to expire now, so we may want to get new dates on it, but you can go to podium.com/dose. And when you go to that URL, you also get 10% off. How about that?
No, I think it's huge. And, a lot of times Kinsley, change is difficult. And so these guys are taking away all the barriers of change and posting up all the really good reasons to change, which is money in your pocket. Check them out.
So Quinn, do you have two bins at your house? You have the light blue bin and then the dark blue bin, and then you put different things in different bins?
Oh, of course. Absolutely. And that just didn't, that started not long ago with us. So yes, I've got recycling bins and I'm happy to do it. How about you? Same thing?
Yeah, but there's another bin that I have access to, and it's only accessible during times of construction around my house. And it's the giant dumpster outside the houses that are being built. There's one in my neighborhood that says no dumping, but the other one has been the recipient of all the ferns and all the plants, like the tomato plants that you can't really fit in the trash can. So it's a window of time that you have to utilize those local amenities. But I've taken full advantage under the cover of darkness.
I think that everyone here in this country, the whole idea of recycling is just becoming so much more common and popular. And so I think people are participating at a higher rate. But there's one person, Kinsley, that's going to know a hell of a lot more about that than either one of us. And she's here.
Justine Fallon, welcome to the show. You're the Director of Operations for the Mattress Recycling Council. We'll refer to it as the MRC. Welcome to the show. How's your day going?
Great. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to be on. Things are doing really well in our mattress recycling world. I have blue bins. I've had them for a long time. I've been involved in recycling for about 20 years professionally, and I started out working in materials recycling facilities where your residential recyclables go. And in 2013, I live in Connecticut, the state passed the first mattress recycling law. And I was super interested in how is this gonna work? Having worked around small residential recyclables, I knew this was a big material. It was gonna be challenging to do it at scale. So when they posted the position, I was the very first employee at the Mattress Recycling Council, and we've been trying to scale it up ever since.
That is incredible. A lot of times the blue bins and the giant bins in neighborhoods, they end up having mattresses dumped inside of them. And
right.
the mission of the Mattress Recycling Council is to make sure that those get broken down and reused. Give us the lay of the land with mattress recycling, because this is a relatively recent development in the recycling world. You all have been around, what, 5 years?
Yes, so we just celebrated our 5-year anniversary. Our first program launched in 2015. So basically, we're a nonprofit. We were created by the International Sleep Products Association. And really, we were created solely to administer mattress recycling programs in states that have supporting legislation. So in 2013, 3 states passed mattress recycling laws. Those were Connecticut was the first, California, and then Rhode Island. So we came in and we have developed the infrastructure to recycle mattresses in those states. And since we started 5 years ago, we've recycled 6 million mattresses. And from those mattresses, over 210 million pounds of mattress materials have gone to end markets to be made into new products. So we've been able to.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I was just going to ask you the next question, which how many get recycled a year?
So we do about 1.5 million across our 3 states. California is obviously the largest state, so they're doing at least 1 million a year, and then Connecticut and Rhode Island rounded out at about 500,000.
And if you're looking at the screen, if you're watching, you can obviously see this graphic that we pulled up.
Right.
But for those listening on the podcast, I'll describe it. By recycling 6 million mattresses, the MRC has diverted 210 million pounds from landfills. That's the equivalent of the weight of this aircraft carrier called the USS Abraham Lincoln. That is a mountain of material that would have been just sitting in landfills rotting. When it rots and whenever it decompresses and decomposes and all that has to happen in those landfills, I saw one of your videos, and these guys and gals that are working at the landfills were saying, look, this is really bad because it takes a lot of time. Describe that for us.
So really what, mattress disposal is really expensive because when you try to bury the mattress or box spring in a landfill, they're very resilient. I mean, those springs are, pretty strong. And so they're very difficult to compact in a landfill. They take up a lot of space, a space that could be used for, other, everyday trash. So it's expensive. So because it's expensive at the landfill, it, then consumers and residents, pay that cost by an extra surcharge on mattress disposal. So once you've created this economic barrier to mattress recycling, then you start to get illegal dumping. So there was all of these things happening around mattresses where they were difficult to manage, they're expensive, it's causing illegal dumping. So a lot of state legislators thought, we should really be adopting one of these EPR programs, extended producer responsibility. We've had it for electronics and paint and tires and, mercury and things like that. So, so Connecticut, like I said, was the first state to do that. And we've been able to take all of that material out of landfills. We've been able to reduce illegal dumping because we've created collection points in all of our states where residents have no cost access to mattress recycling. So we've eliminated that economic barrier. So they're less likely to dump it in the woods because they have a place to go and drop it off for free.
Talk about this in terms of California. I want to zoom in on California for a moment because California is the 7th largest economy in the world. And so you got little bitty Connecticut, little bitty Rhode Island, and then you have California. So I can imagine the conditions there and the logistics and how retailers are responding to the laws that were put in place could be very clear signals for the rest of the industry. And this is what I want to contextualize this in. I want to ground us in this idea that mattress recycling is going to impact every retailer, every manufacturer, every component supplier, and every citizen in some way as we move forward. It already is impacting all of us because junk is getting, taken to the landfill and it's not decomposing or dumped beside the road. Whenever we could take these mattresses and turn them into usable material. But describe California for us. And I know recently the news came out that retailers are going to be required to offer takeaway services for old mattresses. What does that mean for the average retailer in California?
Sure. So California amended the mattress recycling law earlier this year, and we expanded to accept futons and also to level the playing field for all retailers. We have always had a retailer take back requirement, meaning that when a retailer sells a mattress to a consumer, they have to take back their old unit if they want to take it back. So what this does, this new law, there was an exemption for retailers that were delivering by common carrier. And by common carrier, I mean FedEx, UPS, DHL, any of those, common carriers where they're not going to be able to take that mattress out of your home and put it in their delivery van. So now this new AB 187, the new law requires that all retailers take back, including those ones delivering by common carrier. Those ones delivering by common carrier have 30 days to go back to the consumer's house and pick up that mattress, since the common carrier still won't take it back. So we've leveled the playing field for all the retailers because there was just a fraction of them doing it in the beginning. So
that
what
means
we've
if
done,
you're selling e-commerce, like if you're a direct-to-consumer brand, and let's say that your headquarters or your distribution facility is in Dallas and your headquarters is in New York, if you sell a mattress through e-commerce, through a website, and a common carrier delivers it to California, you still are required to figure out and offer takeaway of an old mattress in California.
that's correct. And we're doing a lot to try to support retailers on how to do this. So we just put out a webinar to explain the law and the requirement. We've been working on coming up with information on small commercial haulers around the state that may be able to perform that service for them, like a 1-800-GOT-JUNK. So we've talked with some of them and gathered that information for retailers to use. We've done an awareness campaign. We've really been trying to work with retailers on understanding what that requirement is. We also have a program for retailers, a commercial volume program, where we will provide no-cost transportation as well as no-cost recycling of mattresses that they take back from consumers. So we can put trailers at their facilities, in their distribution centers, at their stores, and collect those units that they consolidate from the take back and recycle them at no cost. So we do have that support for mattress retailers to try to make it easier and more cost effective to recycle.
So that's the MRC behind the scenes. There's the awareness piece of it. And what we're doing today, which is talking about an issue that's going to impact the entire industry, already does impact the entire industry. But behind the scenes, you and your team are in the logistics business. You're figuring out how to get these old mattresses from a consumer's home, work with the retailer, get it to a facility where you can begin to break it down, get it to the recycling. And then from the recycler, the folks that deconstruct the mattress, you're then working with them to find markets to take the foam so you can turn it into carpet pad, or take the springs, or take the wood and turn it into mulch. Your team is working on all that.
Right. It's and in California, it's very challenging. As you said, it's a really big state. There's a lot of miles to cover. These are big, bulky, materials, and to get them stacked into a trailer and moving around the state is definitely challenging. We've just recently we did a transportation study to try to work at being more cost effective and efficient in doing that, working with our collection sites to make sure that they're maximizing the space that they're using in the containers, and working with our recyclers to make sure they're receiving that material quickly so that our transporters can get back out on the road. But you're right, we collect, we do 14,000 loads per year in California of mattresses that move from over 200 collection sites to our 10 recycling facilities, throughout the state. So that's a lot of material moving around. And then our recyclers, after they deconstruct them, like you said, they work with their end markets to deliver the foam, the quilt top, the metal, the wood, and some of the other fibers. Oh,
Gwen, we can't hear you, but you look good with your mouth moving. Your mouth moving looks awesome. We lost you. But here, here's what I'll ask, because I think I'm going to ask what he was going to ask. I'm 100% sure now. Let's talk about the impact of COVID. So has that changed the mattress recycling game, the takeaway, the interaction with the consumer who's getting rid of that old mattress? What does that look like? That's got to add a whole new layer of complication.
Yeah, I mean, like everybody else, we didn't know what was going to happen. You know, we didn't, our collection site's going to be able to stay open, our transporter's going to be working. So it was really just like everybody else in the world. It was just a lot of trying to figure it out in the beginning. What ended up happening was our recyclers are considered essential business, you know, because it is solid waste and recycling in all of our states. So they remained open. We're very lucky. None of them had any COVID outbreaks, so they were able to you know, maintain their business and continue to recycle. Our transporters were also considered essential workers, so the material was able to move around fairly easily. The only thing that happened is in our states, about 20% of our sites, they temporarily suspended operations because either they weren't sure how to receive bulky materials from residents, or they were concerned about their staff and they wanted to just keep their operations very lean. So probably for about 2 months, we saw that, you know, it was kind of the height of those sites that were suspended where residents couldn't drop off mattresses. But, you know, by June and July, everybody was, you know, back on board accepting material. And we just have a couple of stragglers now that still aren't. Now, what we also weren't expecting was the sales of mattresses. So when we get discarded units for 2 reasons, either, you know, a big sale like on, you know, President's Day or Labor Day sales, you know, when somebody buys a new mattress and they get rid of their old mattress. So that's where we see a lot of material coming in. But we also see a lot of material when people are moving. And like the state of Connecticut, I just recently saw something where they were the 3rd highest state for people moving into the state. So we saw a lot of transactions happening where people were buying mattresses, people were moving, they're getting rid of mattresses. So that just it created a huge increase in our volume. And the sales of mattresses also, you know, affects our revenue, because every time in all of our states, there's a recycling fee that's placed on the mattress. So the retailer would collect that fee and then remit it to the Mattress Recycling Council. And that's what we really use to fund the infrastructure for our program. So, you know, we were concerned as, you know, stores were closing, but I think as you saw, a lot of people were buying things online. A lot of people were doing, cleaning out their basements and doing their pandemic projects and, you know, fixing up that guest room and buying a new mattress. I can't tell you how many people just personally in my own life were saying, oh yeah, I bought a mattress, or I got rid of my mattress. So I think we kind of were in that home improvement, home improvement that was happening during the pandemic when people were, you know, quarantined and sheltering in place. So, so it's not what we expected, but we've been able to maintain our volume. We've been able to maintain our revenue, and, you know, everybody's done pretty well.
Still don't have volume from Quinn, but I'm going to look into my crystal ball and I'm going to ask the question. We are on the show today with Justine Fallon, Director of Operations for the Mattress Recycling Council, the MRC. Great information today, Justine, truly. And I just want to ground us in what's happening on the day-to-day level. 50,000 mattresses a day are discarded in the US. Let's put that in context. If you stack them up on top of each other, and then you hike to the top of Mount Everest, and then you look 4 miles further into the air, that's the top of that stack of mattresses. If you were gonna fill up Olympic-sized swimming pools, 61,500 cubic yards, which is 18 Olympic-sized swimming pools. When you look at these numbers and you think about the environmental impact, and you think about what we can do as an industry, how important is it for mattress producers to start building mattresses differently, making it easier to deconstruct?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I think that we are, we're working closely with the industry. One of the things that we just launched is the Sleep Product Sustainability Program in California, where we work with California-based mattress manufacturers who work at their facilities for a certification that we help them create systems to reduce waste, to reduce water consumption, to reduce energy, and just become more sustainable in their facility. And then, they can get our Sleep Product Sustainability Program certification for that facility. We're also working on circularity. We have a partnership with Covestro, and Covestro is a chemical company that makes the chemical for the polyurethane foam. So they're really interested in working with us on trying to expand markets so that our recyclers always have diverse markets to sell their foam to. So that's one of the things that we heavily invest in research to diversify those end markets for recyclers. The other thing that we're going to be working on in 2021, which I'm really excited about, is a design for recycling forum. And that's going to bring together everybody in the value chain. So it will bring mattress recyclers, end markets, mattress manufacturers, suppliers. And we feel like at the Mattress Recycling Council, we're really in a position to be able to bring everybody together to start talking about how to make more sustainable products, how to make products that are easier to recycle, like you said. So, and we've gotten a lot of interest from everybody across the spectrum in participating in that. I think it's just something everybody's really interested in. I think it's something we're talking about nationwide, and what we're going to do for the planet. And I think this is one of the ways that MRC can really make a big impact.
Look, and I'm going to pull this up on my screen. 75% of a mattress, at least, can be recycled and turned into new products. And I think about the industry and where the e-commerce style products have positioned the replacement cycle. And so the replacement cycle seems to be shortening. A lot of people in the mattress industry for years and years were hoping that people would stop keeping their mattress for 20 years and replace an 8, like Mattress Firm used to say. Well, with some of the lower end commodity products that are sold primarily online, roll packed, they're made very cheaply and people don't keep them very long. And so I think the volume of mattresses, like we said, 50,000 a day are going into the dump. And we need to put those, back into other products and not junk up the planet. Like, we have to do our part. To describe this, I've got this pulled up on screen. More than 75% of a mattress can be recycled in the new consumer and industrial products. What are some of those major parts, and then which parts can't be recycled?
Oh, sure. So the top item that gets recycled is the steel. That you'll find that in box springs and mattresses. That just goes to steel mills and gets made into new steel products. So that, in California, in box springs and mattresses, that makes up about 40% of what's, coming out of recycling facilities. And then I would say the next thing would be the foam. Foam, as you mentioned a couple of times, is made into carpet padding. We are looking to try to diversify that market, because if you really want to scale this up with other states, we're just going to need a lot more opportunities to recycle foam into different new and different products. So the Mattress Recycling Council is working on that. Then we have quilt top, which also goes into carpet padding. So there is that market. There's cotton that we find in mattresses that is sold to a company that makes an insulation product. We have coconut. And in California, we found some outlets to compost it. Those are usually older mattresses. And so we anticipate that over time, we won't really be seeing as much of that anymore. And then probably the hardest thing for us to recycle, the thing we're having the most trouble with in terms of an end market, is the shoddy pad, the Duralator pad. That's already been recycled. It has a lot of recycled content, and the way that it's constructed It's just difficult to make it into something else again. There are some applications that we've seen some recyclers sell to that include like automotive insulation. So there's very limited, maybe even just seasonal markets for some of that. So that one's a little bit trickier. But yeah, that's, they're simple products. I mean, there's, a set number of commodities usually. And we generally are able to find markets for most things. And like you said, we feel that 75% of the mattress can be recycled. And we're really either really close to hitting that goal in our states, and in some of our states, we actually haven't hit that goal.
Justine, describe what the average person, the average retailer can do if they're one of the 47 states that don't have an official recycling program. Is this something like, when I think about the 3 states that are involved, that had to start somewhere, that had to lead to legislation, somebody ushered that through, somebody was a champion of it. If other states want to get on board, how do people get involved? How do people do something now? And even before official legislation passes, what are some steps they can take?
Sure. So we have a website, buybymattress.com, and part of that website, really the cornerstone of it, is our mattress recycling locator. And so we try to include mattress recyclers all around the country. So if you go in there, you can see if there's a mattress recycler near you that's even outside of our state programs. So that's one thing you can do, is to try to look for local mattress recyclers. In terms of legislation, we work with new states that are interested in adopting, EPR legislation in their state. We're talking to a handful of states at any one time. But again, it has to be passed at the state level. It has to be passed at the legislature. And, sometimes that can take a little while. It can move slowly, but that's really the mechanism for us to come in and work with states, is through legislation.
Well, thanks for your time today. Thanks for helping us celebrate America Recycles Day. I think it's a great industry. I think there is a commitment to figuring out ways to keep our products out of landfills. And I really love the work the MRC is doing in our industry, and through ISPA, and with the support of Better Sleep Council and the whole ecosystem that ISPA has created. So great job to you and your team. What did we miss? Is there anything that you like, any parting words or any final thoughts or anything that we missed that you want to talk about?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything. I think, like I said, I feel like we're doing a great job. You showed some of our statistics about how much material we're keeping out of landfills, the 6 million mattresses that we've recycled, our continuing efforts with illegal dumping in our states to minimize that, which is another really important piece of work that we do at MRC. But, we're really excited to be participating in America Recycles Day this month. We're really proud of the work that we've done, and we're happy to share it with other companies and other recycling organizations, and hopefully be the leader in this space. Well,
we did recycle Mark Quinn. That means he's gonna get brought back for future use in a different state. So we're pretty sure he's okay. But good. He's going to look a lot different after we find new end markets to use him in.
Okay, great. Well, tell him I said goodbye.
Thanks, Justine. It's great having you on the show.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Take care.